So we're finally getting around to like doing this. We painted this car about a month ago, and I make mistakes so you guys don't have to. So this was a DIY budget home paint job. We used $150 paint. We did it over at the shop, just so we wouldn't get overspray and whatnot on our neighbors' stuff. But it was done as primitively as possible. So here's the final result. I started working on the worst sections of the car. So, you know, there's orange peel, right? This was more like pineapple. So I sanded the front fender and the quarter with this 1500 grit and brought it down, and I'm extremely happy with the finish of the paint. It looks good, the color came up. I just gave this a quick buff. I'll give it another one. I'm just doing this quarter panel now. And you can see that the paint itself came up really nice. So that's not an issue. That's the good part. The bad part is I rushed. I rushed when I did the actual body work. So there's a lot of waves. Some of it is actually pretty good, but there's a lot of waves. There's a lot of, you know, imperfections, right? And again, my fault. I rushed. I knew better. And this goes back to what I keep saying about the mechanic and the body man mode and how they're two completely different things. The mechanic just goes, right? You get set on move and you don't stop till the job is done. The body man takes his time. Like, for instance, the perfect example was when we painted it. And a lot of you guys pointed this out. You're like, why didn't you do it in 3 coats? You know, why didn't you give it, you know, a light coat, let it set, and give it a second coat, and then a finish coat? And I had intended to. You know, I had wanted to. But I was in mechanic mode. And mechanic mode doesn't wait. Like, mechanic mode doesn't stop. You're in the zone and you're going. So where I had intended to stop and give it, you know, a rest and then give it a second coat, didn't happen like that. I just kept going and going and going. I needed to slow myself down. I needed to zen out. And it was the same thing when I did the actual body work that's biting me in the ass now. Because those waves, if I hadn't been rushing, if I hadn't been in mechanic mode, and I have to admit, I let the time constraints of this channel get in my head too. It's like, well, you got to produce a finished result, you got to produce a finished result. So I rushed the job instead of just taking my time and staying in my own head. And you got to realize, when you see, let's say you see these shows on the Motor Trend Network, and you know, they start at the beginning and it's a wreck, and then they finish up and it's got a show quality paint job on it. There are literally there's like a year, sometimes 2 years between the filming of the first installment and the last installment. That gets in your head and you don't realize, no, just take your time. So I'm extremely happy with the results of the actual paint job, but I'm going to call the job overall as a fail, because it's one of those things where, you know, it looks great from certain angles, but then when you come down here and the light hits it just right, you know, there's a zillion waves. So I'm going to move around to this side of the car next. I mean, I could already see, even before I've wet sanded it, I can already see the door is a mess. I should have aborted this door. I didn't. I had it in my head that I would be, you know, I'd be able to save it. And the sections of the door that were the worst actually came out really nice, because I focused all my attention on those. And because I was so focused on this area here, I neglected all of these areas. And you can see when the light hits it in just a certain way, it's all over the place. But again, I'm stuck with it for the time being. I am going to find another door and just rehang the door. The fender actually came out really nice. The fender was crunched, if you remember. It was all buckled in over here. It was all, you know, but the fender actually came out pretty nice. And I think once we wet sand this is a keeper. But this door, definitely. As soon as I find a decent replacement for it, I'll be replacing this. I hope you learned something from this. I learned something from it. You know, if you're going to do this stuff from a beginner standpoint, and like I said, I'm a beginner. I'm a total amateur with the body and paint. Even the buffing, my buffing skills are terrible. You know, I had to do it a few times on each panel before I got it to actually come around. If you're doing this sort of thing and you're doing it like, you know, you've got it in your mind, you're going to create a show car thing, and then if it doesn't turn out that way, you're going to be crushed. Don't do it. Pay somebody else to do it. if you approach this from the perspective that I'm approaching this from, is that I did it and now I see I made my mistakes and I'm going to learn from those mistakes and I'll redo certain sections or I'll avoid making that mistake on the next car, then by all means you need to do this. The paint was cheap. It was 150 bucks for the gallon with the hardener. I think total we're into the paint job for around, the paint job and the body were for around 600 bucks. You know, really isn't bad. So, you know, make mistakes, learn from them, move forward. I hope you got something out of that. I've definitely gotten something out of this, and I'm looking forward to doing the next one. We have a Slant 6 Dart race car in the backyard, which we've already got the paint for, so that's probably going to be the one we do next. And then at some point next year, we're going to do our Roadrunner Revival, and we're going to reshoot, we're going to fix the small rust areas on this thing, 344 speed, and we're going to put this thing back on the road. So that's it. Do-it-yourself paint job complete. I'll see you tomorrow.